Okay, okay. So today is Sunday, and I think today's the second Sunday in February. I would love to introduce a new series of teachings I'm going to be talking about on this channel. Title is the Born Different series, and I'm going to attempt to introduce my listeners to who they really are. Yeah, because that is what we really need today. We need people who know who they are and are very, very confident in who they really are. I don't know how long this will take. I don't know how long it will continue for, but I will try every Sunday to upload and just to get you with this idea of preparing yourself for the week and to stay in constant touch with who you really are. To stay in constant touch with your authentic self. See, there is this proclivity we often have when things get a bit difficult, or when things get a bit stressful during the week, or when we even sometimes it's not even in the middle of the week, or when we face some challenging times. But you notice for many people, we don't even really have a sense of who we are. We don't have a sense of identity. We don't have a sense of purpose. We don't have a sense of self-worth. We tend to take on ourselves whatever value others impose on us. We tend to take all of this in, and in time, we tend to define ourselves from these lenses. And this ought not to be. This ought not to be so. This ought not to happen. My goal will be, before you start your week, that you just take some minutes out of your Sunday evenings to listen to this and to remind yourself of who you are, to not forget who you really were made to be, what you were really meant to do, because it's important to know that our world needs you. You see, that's everything that you have in your mind, that you are thinking about yourself, that you feel you can do or you can achieve, can be as fizzy or easy like, just because you've not taken enough time to revel in the idea of the fact that you were born different. You see yourself as every other human being. You see yourself as every other person. And what's worse, like I said just some minutes ago, you allow what they impose or how they define you, how they see you, you allow that to define who you really are. You begin to see yourself through their lenses. And again, the purpose of all this is to let you know and to remind you of the fact that you are born different, you are born for a purpose, and our world needs you. As you go forth into your week, whether you are a student, whether you are someone who is just still looking for a job, whether you are someone who already is gainfully employed, whether you are someone that you are employed but you are not satisfied, you will find a lot of meaning in this series, I hope, and it will help you to be a better person, to help you to be someone who can, as Miles Monroe will put it, who can easily deploy themselves into the world so that the world can benefit from who they really are. So today we'll be talking about self-discovery, knowing who you really are, knowing who you are under the skin, and paying attention to that. So the first thing you need to know is you are born different. You are different from what your society expects of you to be. You are different from what your friends expect you to be. You are different from even the job position that you have. You are different from what you are studying in school. There's always this thing, and it has a lot to do with how weak our sense of identity is and how weak our sense of purpose actually is in the world. And that's that when you ask someone excuse me, or excuse me, sorry, who are you? They tell you, I'm a doctor. They tell you, I'm a nurse. They tell you, I'm an engineer. But that actually isn't who you are. That's just what you do. That isn't who you are. That is the role you play. Who you are is a totally different thing. And why this is important would be who you are is actually connected to a sense of understanding of why you were born. Who you are will regulate and maintain how you do what you were born to do. Who you are will also influence how you see yourself in relation to how you see other people and how you see the world in which you currently find yourself. So it's important to note as you plan for the week to ask yourself this question: who am I really? Who am I really? Who am I? Who did God create me to be? Who am I? Who am I to the people around me? Who am I to the world around me? What was I born to serve the world with? What can I do that would make this world a better place? What can I do in my own sphere of influence, in my own little space, to make this world a better place? And that's what this series is all about. To introduce you to yourself, as it were, to remind you of the fact that you are not what you do, you are not the books you have written or you want to write, or the books you love to. You are not even your hobbies, as it were. You are created and born different. You were created to make your own specific impact on the world today. You are born to make a specific impact. You were created, designed to leave a footprint that is original, that belongs to you. You are born that you might be someone that would be a blessing to the world. And as you do your work, as you discharge your duties this week, I want it to remain a pertinent question in your mind, to ask yourself, okay, if this thing is taken away from me, if something happens and I don't get to study this course again, if something happens and I don't get to do this job again, who am I really? How do I define myself away from all of these things? How do I define myself away from all of these things I own? How do I define myself away from all of these things I do? It's very important, because it will affect how you do your job. If you love your job and you do your job properly, because you have a sense of self-worth, you are always going to do the job and the work differently from someone who doesn't. So it's very important to understand that you are born different, you have a specific purpose, and you have to pay attention to your identity. That is, if you don't think about it long enough, someone somewhere probably has given you an idea of who you are. And it might shock you to know, if you pay attention to think about who you really are, it might be very different from what the world expects of you, from what the world thinks of you to be. So it's very important that your identity, it defines and determines everything you do. That is, who you are and how you see yourself, who you are and how you think about yourself. They are the most important and critical factors to your success. If you are going to understand that you are born different, it must start from you answering that question: who am I? So again, in the week, as you go about your week, ask yourself these questions and spend time thinking about who you really are. Spend time thinking about what your identity is about. Spend time to think about what value you were born with that you can bless our world with. We need you. We need you. We need you to have a mind of your own. We need you to not just conform. We need you to know that you were created to stand out. You were born to stand out. And we need you to to understand your identity and to follow the plan that was laid out for you concerning your identity. So again, don't just lose yourself in the drudgery of the week. Don't lose yourself in the many activities of the week. Remember to ask yourself along the week who you really are, and determine, as hard and difficult as it would be, to take some time out each day this week to just mentally think, to mentally cogitate on this question. Try to answer that question of who you think you are, and try to map out a plan on how you are going to serve the world with your talent, with your gift, and with your purpose. You are going to make small steps. You are going to take small steps daily towards deploying yourself and telling the world who you really are, so that you are not just taking an identity that does not belong to you, taking on an identity that is foisted on you, that is not who you really are. It's important that you have a sense of identity, know who you really are, and it will determine how the week will turn out for you. So till we see again next week Sunday, remember, you were born different.